footage used in the video is owned entirely by the copyright holders. Nemo the Geek makes no claims of ownership, holds no right, and simply uses the footage for purposes of education, commentary, and criticism under fair use. This is not a substitute to watching the movie.
Hello and welcome back to Nemo the Geek, where we are doing another episode of full movie spoilers, also known as Fear Files. We'll dive into the story, hidden details, plot holes, characters, cinematography, soundtrack, and explaining the ending, and everything else that makes a movie good or bad. Before I start this video, I'd like to post a disclaimer here that my mic has been causing me issues for the past 2 hours and I lost all my energy to that. So it might sound a bit echoey, but at least you're hearing me, I hope. Anyways, I'm really tired and I'm very sick, but I'm still here to explain the movie. So hop aboard my train of spoilers, my geeks. Destination? What did I just watch? I'm your host Naim Ahmed, and today we're reviewing weapons. Going in blind, because what's my number one rule? Yes, never watch trailers before the movie. But there was a lot of buzz going on around it, so I felt pretty safe taking that particular gamble. Now the closest shirt I could find related to weapons, because I don't have shirts with weapons on them, is the Scouts from Attack on Titan, and they use weapons and we're reviewing weapons in this. Captain Levi would be proud. Directed by Zach Krieger, this one's a dark, genre-bending horror mystery, but does it stick the landing? Or face blonde like a horror movie Cold Open where the babysitter dies on the front porch? Let's find out. No spoiler-free video for this one, folks. I have way too many videos to catch up on and promises to keep to you. So let's get to it. We start with a black screen with a child's voice, which is narrating in a very realistic, childlike way the true story of the horrors that happened right here in his or her town 2 years ago in Maybrook Elementary, kindergarten to 5th grade. Yikes! Kudos to who wrote this dialogue. This is how a child would talk in real life, and kudos to the child narrator, because oh my god, is it creepy. If you're one of the few who've already watched the movie or seen the trailers, you know what I'm talking about. Turns out that the incident being narrated here in the calm, creepy, chilling voice of a child happened on a regular Wednesday. And if you've seen the IMDb poster, you know exactly what happened. I don't need to show you the recording. I don't need to explain it to you. But the poster left out a crucial detail, a very crucial detail. Miss Justine Gandy came in to find a singular kid in her class. It was not empty. It was never empty. There was one kid sitting in there. Slight tangent, but what is with these drawings in the classroom, Miss Gandy? And do we really think these are display work? This one straight up looks like a demon snowman. Someone called Russell Crowe on his scooter, because I think one of these kids really does need an exorcism. Man, because after that night, none of these kids ever came back. Concentrate on the wording. They never came back. I'll come round to that in the end. With one exception of good boy named Alex Lilly, who shows up to an empty classroom. No absence or tardies for this boy. The only uniformity is in the way they run. Hands wide open and running straight ahead into a Duolingo title card. Straight up, we get the info that the story will not be told in a linear fashion. It's like Magnolia meets Barbarian, with storytelling that hops around more than a caffeinated school kid, 17 of whom are missing, by the way. Makes sense since it came from the people who made Barbarian, and very few movies can pull this off, but I believe Weapons manages to hold its own in this regard. In fact, I think it makes a lot of sense for the story, makes it more mysterious considering the plot is pretty basic, and this way it leaves us to theorize and connect the dots, or should I say ribbons? I'm just dropping Easter eggs and clues left and right. You be Sherlock Holmes and connect the dots. First up, we have the teacher. Each chapter starts with their part in the story and fills in the gap. So we see a placard for Justine. School is closed for a month for the investigation, and during that time there is a grievance counseling session going on, which is overtaken by a mob of angry parents blaming Justine. They think she's a witch and did or told the kids something or cast a spell on them. Yes, sir. Thank you for using trigger words like abandonment during a grief counseling session in which children disappeared. I'm sure you are very good at your job. Here's your participation medal. Now please get off the podium and go walk into the ocean, please. Soon 34 parents are doxing her, painting witch on her car, pulling ding dong ditch or knock knock ginger pranks. She spirals, she's ostracized. Man, it's a straight up horror movie for Justine, isn't it? Just so happens she's in a horror movie, so she'll just have to deal with it. Cue a one night stand with her married cop friend Paul. His wife Donna finds out, and hey, calm down, Donna. Throw things at your husband. He's the one who's married, sober, and still cheating and drinking. Okay, I'm not saying that the blame doesn't go both ways, but instead of focusing on the other woman who was told a lie, focus that rage on your shitty cop husband, alright? And all women, please focus your rage on the man who made vows to you. But Justine tries to reach Alex and he's suddenly hostile, like he thinks she's a witch too. Then she notices his house. Every window boarded up with newspapers so people cannot peek in. She notices a peak left between two newspapers where she spies two wax dummy-like figures inside. My spidey senses are tingling. She confronts Alex, who straight up tells her to stop following her, but she won't be told off by a kid. She parks outside all day, falls asleep in her car, because that's not suspicious at all, Miss Candy. Miss Justine forgot to lock her car doors. You can lock those, right, Justine? Especially when everyone around you wants your head, and that earns her a hair-cutting ambush from Alex's mom. Very creepy. Or off the lock. If you've read that poem, as she is blissfully asleep, she doesn't even notice anything. At this point, I clocked it. Voodoo magic. Ooh, a clue, Watson. And look, it's elementary. My ad-libbing is not helping. Connect the dots here, people. The waxy figures, the kids running like airplanes, hair being cut, it's all puppet string magic. And this mom's clearly not in control. The way she's carrying those scissors, she's being controlled and puppeteered by either the evil kid Alex or someone else is in the house. And that's why they have newspapers on the windows. Next, Archer Graf. So, Archer Graf is the unlucky dad of a missing kid Matthew, who's a bully just like his dad. Raise better kids, people. As we go back into the past, starting from his point in the story, and we see he makes regular visits to the police office, he does his own research, and consequently instigates the riot in the school. He ding-dong ditches her and paints her car as well. Wow, a solid human being. He's a construction manager. I think he owns the company. I'm not sure, it's not made clear. But he is so grief-stricken, he forgets the sorting on the house his crew is working on. And on top of that, he orders red paint instead of forest green for the door as the client requested. I think the second part wasn't a mistake, Mr. Graff. I think the second part was just a cover up. I think this whole screw up was a cover up to buy red paint. Sneaky, sneaky. But yeah, I get it. You love your kid, and grief counselors are telling you to be angry at your kid for abandoning you. It's not like the police is very helpful, so you gotta be suffering, right? Just know that innocent until proven guilty is still a thing. He obsessively studies ring cam footage, realizes all kids ran in the same way and in the same direction, more or less. This is the first thing that the cops should have done, except apparently 17 kids missing doesn't warrant that much of a deep investigation. Matthew's dad obsessively studies his own ring cam footage every single day, ritualistically. Like every morning he wakes up, he makes himself coffee, and he watches that ring cam footage. He forwards, rewinds, and yeah, maybe you find something small, something that's missing, something that other people missed. Yeah, it's a good strategy. That is when he stumbles on an excellent idea and he goes to Justin Long's house. Hey, I didn't know he had a cameo in this movie. They have a ring cam too, so they compare the footage and he finds a pattern. Both kids were running in the same manner and in a similar direction. Oh my, what a surprise! There's a connection here? Why didn't the police do what he's doing right now? See what I mean by the police not being helpful? 17 kids are missing and the town is rocked by this tragedy, and they don't do a proper rescue mission. They don't do deeper checks on the one who did not go missing. They don't do a deeper dive on the teacher even, and they didn't check the ring cams, which is the most basic thing you could have done, Mr. Policeman. That's the most solid piece of evidence you have. You have actual video footage of the event happening. How could you miss that? Oh my god, I didn't realize that. Made me so angry, but that is negligence of the highest order. I think it was Archer Graff who said you're either negligent or complicit. So yeah, police, you are negligent. So Archer Graff managed to take two ring cam footages and managed to circle a certain area of town. He got that far by watching two ring cams. That's something, that's not nothing, alright? While out on the drive back home though, he runs into Justine and starts laying into her again, and she's sick of it. Until mid-dialogue we see that Justine's peripheral vision still works while drunk because Marcus is coming her way. Marcus is the principal of the school. But this is not an ordinary encounter. He has ectoplasm or goo running down his chin, blood running down his head, eyes engorged and running just like the kids. This is freaky as hell. He's zoned in on her like a heat-seeking missile. Even when Archer tries to push him aside, he ignores him and goes straight for Justine. Justine manages to drive off while Archer gets injured, and as Principal Marcus runs off on an open road, you know what happens, kids, when you cross a road without looking both ways, right? Boy, that girl is gonna have trauma for days now, with the detached foot and a watermelon face, or should I say head. Anyways, Marcus is down. Who prompted it? Who knows? But it does redeem her in Archer's eyes. As they both get treated for their flesh wounds, she laments she has never seen anything like that before. She's never seen anyone run like that before. But Archer has, and he shows her the map, and Justine makes a discovery right off the bat when she recognizes Alex's house is in the middle of the two kids' trajectory, which Archer has already circled, by the way. See, Archer, you just needed to be a team player, my dude. This is not the Archer show. And then, the next scene, he has a dream that is pure, emotional, and nightmare fuel at once. And we will discuss that in the scare count, but note that both Justine and Archer see Ronald McDonald's mistress in their dreams or booze-addled hallucinations. Now it's time to move to Paul, the cheater cop. Again, back in the past. The movie is so immersive, it makes us go back into the past, pick a relevant place in the past of that particular character and show from their point of view. The next two characters are a prime example of that storytelling. That is why Weapons is just so good at this storytelling, because the basic plot is not very interesting. Yeah, it's B movie material, but this is the execution. That's what makes it so good. He catches a tweaker, shall we say, trying to break into a building. Turns out not only is he a shitty husband, he's a shitty cop as well. Because as he pricks his hand on the needle in his pocket, he slams the poor handcuffed man's head so hard in front of the dash cam while panicking about getting AIDS. Dude, I get it, but it's 2025. It's not a death sentence anymore. You don't have to practice police brutality. As soon as he realizes, just as any corrupt cop would, he disconnects the dash cam, realizing that that was police brutality. So he makes a deal with the junkie that if he doesn't report him, he doesn't arrest him. Cool? We cool? We cool, my dude? Now before he meets Justine and comes into Justine's story, he gets a call from his wife Donna beforehand, proving they are very much together and she is on a business trip. And if you thought he was a bad cop, yeah, he's an even worse liar. And to top it all off, the chief of police is his father-in-law. Talk about nepotism as well. Add nepotism into the police shitbag. He later sees the junkie walking to the station and worrying he will snitch. He drives after him, scaring him off. Next we have James. Oh, sorry, you didn't know James. James is the junkie who was head smashed by Officer of the Year here. He's out of stuff and has no money, so he's on his way looking for homes to steal stuff from. And can you guess, my dear Sherlocks and Watsons, can you guess which house he decides to rob? Yep, you guessed it right. Because let's rob the house with a car in the driveway, newspaper all over the windows, boarded up. Why not? He's rifling through Nintendo games to sell before he stumbles upon the house of wax statues on the sofa. Oh, they're human, alright, but they're unresponsive and catatonic, and he even checks like this, fearless, absolutely fearless. This guy. Hey buddy, you check if there are 3 brothers loose around here somewhere? One of them not very, very good looking. Yeah? No? Okay. So instead of hiding it out of here, he resumes rifling through the Nintendo games to spawn off, despite hearing a thump from upstairs and faint voices coming from the basement. He gathers silverware and canned soup in a pillowcase. I get it. You're out of options. Maybe rob the neighbor though. I'm sure they're at work, my dude. So in a nutshell, he finds a pair of catatonic people on the sofa, freaks, goes back to stealings, hears noises, but still decides, yeah, basement looks promising. My dude, what do you think you will find down there? At best, it's gonna be soggy unwanted junk, or you'll find some Jane Doe's body lying there unearthed in the basement. But even worse than that, maybe you'll run into the 17 kids that have been missing all this time. He freaks out, barricades the door, drops his stolen belongings, and is still too dumb to put them back in the pillowcase, taking his time, not realizing that mommy and daddy suddenly regained human mobility behind him and are coming after you. You're lucky they move like Shaun of the Dead zombies and you escaped within an inch of your skin, my guy. He's selling the things he risked his life for and sees a $50,000 reward for the missing kids. He can't go there because of Paul, the police brutalizer. So he calls them up, tells them he has a phobia of police stations, but he knows where the missing kids are. Unfortunately, I'm sure the police station had received phone calls, especially from junkies like this. So they say that he has to come in, and he has to come in person. But that's where we see from his point of view Paul chasing him. He runs to the woods, and look, that clown lady is waving at him. So he hides in his tent, which begins to zip open as if the person on the outside is really into creating suspense during the scene. For no particular reason, just felt like it, I guess. James arms himself with 3 needles, but turns out it's Paul, the cheating cop, who gets 3 of them right in the face. And slight tangent here, Paul. Why won't you just announce you're the police instead of opening the tent like a serial killer? Buddy, you're not unboxing an iPhone here. It's a human being in a tent. Just announce you're the police and tell him to get out or he'll be shot. Believe me, James will get out, and even if he doesn't, it's a fucking tent, not Fort Knox. Paul doubles down on his single-digit IQ because when he's told by James he knows where the kids are, instead of calling in for backup, making a deal with the boy that he will get the $50K if he keeps hush-hush about the head smack. I mean, yeah, I would take several smacks to the face like that for $50,000. That came out wrong. But you know what I mean. Be good? Yeah. Instead of calling for backup, he locks poor James up in the back seat in his cop car and visits Alex's home all alone. Day turns to night until an all too familiar sight greets us again when, like Marcus, the principal, he drags James in the house as well. 2 very smart individuals, I may add here. Now it's time to see what made Marcus go from domestic diner to rage virus zombie in a split second. I left out a piece from Justine's story that she insists that he calls CPS on Alex and his parents because there are clear signs of neglect there. And he's someone who's in a position of authority who can legally call CPS on them if he feels that a child is being neglected or abused. He shuts her down for sure, but Justine won't stop. She has boundary issues. We all know that. She does it out of care. She cares for each and every student. It's been established in the movie, by the way. She reminds him that, alright, if I can't do anything, you can. At least call them to your school. Call the parents to school. See how Alex is coping and stuff like that. He schedules a meeting with Alex's parents, and when the meeting takes place, turns out Marcus is visited at school on Friday by the woman who is Ronald McDonald's mistress. Yes, it's all coming together now, isn't it? Now she introduces herself as Alex's Aunt Gladys and explains that she has become the family's caretaker after Alex's parents fell ill. Marcus insists on meeting Alex's parents for a wellness check, as only guardians can take school meetings. And when he throws the word CPS at her, the magic word, she looks at his ribbon, and now you know, now you get it, connect the ribbons. See, it's all tying together. So she looks at her ribbon, and we all know she's taken it, right? I mean, we're not that stupid. She's not a klepto. She's just a voodoo witch. Don't judge. Don't judge. So now it's a Saturday. He's eating hot dogs with his partner in romantic bliss while watching a documentary about ants. I mean, it's very relevant to the story about how parasites take over an ant's brain, but that is not dinner time TV, guys. Change the channel to something else. Ew. Marcus's partner agrees that it's disgusting. Ew. But he still doesn't change the channel. There's a sudden knock on the door. Marcus is visited by the same lady, Aunt Gladys. So on a peaceful Saturday, Gladys visits Marcus and his husband Terry at their home. Oh, quite an invasion of privacy again. She asks for water, and even though Marcus is like, nope, this is not correct, don't come in, he doesn't let her in. Very wise. But Terry is not a principal, so he lets her in. She asks for water, but not in a glass because it's too mainstream. Get it? Get it? Get it? I'm stupid, I know. I should not be allowed to make jokes. She asks for water in a bowl. For a very tiny fleeting moment there, I was sitting there wondering, is she gonna lift the bowl to drink the water, or is she gonna slurp it up like an animal? Instead, she suddenly cuts her own hand and asks Terry to fetch a rag. And she's like, oh, it's just an accident. And they're all freaking out. She goes to get the rag from Terry to clean up her blood, but suddenly cuts Terry's hair. Oh dear. Performs a ritual with a ribbon stolen from Marcus and locks of Terry's hair, wrapping them around a certain twig and snapping it in half, which is what activates heat missile rage mode. There's that mystery solved. And now it's time to get rid of nosy Justine, whose hair she happens to have because you didn't lock your car, Justine. Poor Terry, whose only crime was letting the woman in for a glass of water, getting smashed in the head like someone kneading pizza dough but with their forehead. We then see what events led to Marcus attacking Justine at the gas station. Alex! Now for the meaty part of the story. The one kid who did not disappear, like the creepy kid asked. And do you know why? We're about to find out why. Why he was the only attendee of the class. So obviously this is the final act. Alex is the last story, and his starts from the very beginning, before this all even started. We see him bullied at school by Archer's son Matthew. He's reserved but overall a smart kid, an observant kid. He has a wholesome relationship with his dad, excluding the line about kissing supermodels. I mean, he's in 3rd grade, my dude. The most a supermodel would do is pat him on the head. It's revealed that his mom's Aunt Gladys is moving in tomorrow. A few days go without incident, the dad worrying about her health and confirming to poor Alex
I don't think she'll be here longer than a month.
doesn't explicitly say that she's gonna die before that, but we got you, dog. We got you. So, however, how the turntables when one day his dad doesn't pick him up from school, and it is revealed that Gladys is a dying witch who can enchant victims to either do stuff for her or use them to drain their life force to keep herself from dying. The dying woman who wouldn't have lasted a month is suddenly up and about sprinting while his parents are catatonic. She gets to Alex by threatening their lives.
You understand what can happen if you break your promise? Make your parents hurt themselves. I can make them hurt each other. I can make them eat each other if I want to. Do I want to, Alex?
With a live demo, which is freaky as hell, Alex promises not to mention her to anyone. Ouch! Poor Alex is stuck on soup feeding duty to his parents, and I like how as the days go by, we see how much time has passed as his soup feeding has gotten less clumsier than his first try. By day 10, I'm sure Gordon Ramsay would have adopted him. Turns out she's still dying, and in final manipulation tactic with the promise of leaving, she asks him to bring home personal items from each of his classmates, which she used to draw the children to Alex's house so she could keep them in the basement to feed on their life force. While all of this is happening, the new team of Justine and Archer enter Alex's house because nobody calls for backup here without calling 911. You know this house may pose danger. You saw those puppet humans, Justine. Just get the police force there, even if it turns out to be nothing and the police turns out to be useless. What do you guys have to lose here? But turns out they did get one police officer, but with their luck, it's the idiotic philanderer who's under Gladys's control. Gladys tells Alex to pack as they are moving the next day since the cops are involved now. I mean, there's a little cop car outside their house standing right now. But between us, I don't think she ever intends to take Alex with her. Now, this part is where many people got confused. Many people didn't get the closure they need with the ending, and I'm here to provide you with that closure. Alex is smart enough to know that she's lying though, so it's not just between you and me. It's Alex knows she has a tendency to lie, and especially when she warns him not to cross the salt barrier as they stand like sentry guards on her room door. I think she's afraid Alex will either sabotage her plans by going into her room and burning her voodoo tree or whatever, and she plans to have him killed by his own parents after he crosses the salt barrier, because it's so diabolical and so evil. Gladys, why? This is not evil, this is barbaric. Oh, creator barbarian. I got it. But this is barbaric. Having catatonic parents kill their own child, hatching a plan like that, that's just so far, that's what we assume. But that's what I thought at that moment. I thought that she set default mode on all the adults she controls in the house at this moment, which are 4: the police cop, James, and Alex's parents. Whoever crosses the rage barrier activates rage mode, and they lock in on whoever steps on the barrier or breaks it. That's my working theory. In this case, Justine is attacked by Paul as she steps on the barrier and gets choked without consent. And as she peels her skin off with a potato peeler, that does jack squat, by the way. Hey, that shit may have worked for the Kim family cousin in Gilmore Girls, but not here, Justine. Not here. She swaps the peeler for his service pistol, shooting him through the neck, which again has zero effects on him. Guy's gushing blood from his jugular and still raging on, choking her. So she chances a headshot and he finally dies. So yeah, Zombieland rules apply here too, I guess. James, however, keeps parkour attacking Archer in a horror version of Leapfrog. They land in the basement. Archer sees the kids. Meanwhile, Alex decides it's now or never, do or die, because he intentionally steps over the salt barrier, and in a disturbing scene, his parents try to kill him and he manages to evade them. How many rooms does this house have anyway? He's locked in Gladys's room for now, but she's not there. So where is she? Yeah, okay, we're good. In the chaos, Justine saves Archer by blowing James's head off and walks down among the kids using his phone's flashlight to search for Matthew. But out pops Gladys. Ah, there she is. We can rest easy now, folks. And look how happy she looks. She grabs his locket, not a lock of his hair, and enchants him to attack Justine. Poor girl can't catch a break from the choking. Meanwhile, Alex has a Jimmy Neutron brain blast and replicates Gladys' spell using a strand of hair from her and breaking the branch by using his own blood. This makes all the catatonic children go after her like rabid zombies. And I actually laughed out loud at the scene when they jump into the neighbor's house. Priceless! This scene here is more comical batshit crazy than horror. One neighbor and his family are just enjoying breakfast and suddenly an old woman followed by a horde of feral children running after her. Another neighbor and then another just see the same thing and it's just so hilarious. Their reactions are just like, what the fuck? And oh, I get it now. They run like that because she runs like that. That's another layer of spooky. Eventually, a zombified girl jumps on her, tackles her while the others follow and lynch her, limb from limb, tearing her head in half. Like, which breaks the spell on Archer, who seems fine and whole. However, even when she dies, the people she took the life force from aren't fully cured. Justine and Archer follow the trails of destruction. Justine goes upstairs towards Alex and Archer outside, which gave us another moment of hilarity. Oh my god! Oh my god! Oh my god! And the story ends when the narrator child says, some of the children have started speaking again now, meaning 2 years later, some kids started to speak, meaning the parents got the physical catatonic kids back, but brain damaged or with little to no life source left in them. All of this simply to power the batteries of a voodoo witch. And remember when I said that they never came back? That's what I meant. It was a deeper level of coming back. They physically came back, but they never came back as they were. And it's just sad. Alex's parents never recovered, maybe because they're older, they didn't even make the first cut, so they are institutionalized and being fed soup by orderlies. And Alex, who had a great family, lost it all and now lives with another aunt, but the narrator does specify it's a nicer aunt. Get this kid some therapy, man. He needs it. That trauma is gonna ruin him. Yeah, don't let him turn into another James. So that way it is open-ended because people didn't understand certain plot points which I just laid out here. If you still don't understand anything, if you still don't have the closure on the story, tell me, I'll answer the questions for you. So the major questions are, the kids remained catatonic because she had drained too much life force out of them and the parents, and I shall use that as my explanation why they never came back. One more question, why Archer recovered and no one else did? The reason Archer fell out of the spell was because she didn't use him for that purpose. She was just using him to kill Justine. Now let's look at the two major plot holes that this movie has. One is Clarice's plan. Clarice's plan was crude to begin with. Every kid goes missing but Alex. Obviously, suspicion would fall on him and the teacher by default. And by him, I mean you, Gladys. One random home visit from CPS, and despite your voodoo, there are too many loose threads here. Instead, the simplest solution was to ask him to bring stuff from another third grade class that has no connection to Alex, leaving zero breadcrumbs for anyone to find. Rookie mistake, but yeah, you got outsmarted by a third grader, so we can't say you're a super genius, Gladys. The second plot hole is the police. Yes, the police did a crappy job, but they overlooked some glaring issues. They took what Gladys said at face value. Huh? A relative no one knew about suddenly in the picture, and weird shit suddenly starts to happen. Coincidence, right? And when the police question the dad, she just says he had a stroke and he can't speak. My guy, can't you at least check the dad's medical history? When it happened, how, where he received treatment? One question about hospital name and everything unravels. After one inspection, no follow-up on Alex's home, they had cause. He was the only unharmed kid. So either he instigated this or there is someone near him protecting him or forcing him to do her bidding. Oh, I don't know, maybe the clown makeup lady who's been tagging along instead of Alex's mom to the police station, to the school. This is some sloppy police work here. Let's talk about cinematography. I would say the cinematography was pretty decent, although some parts of it were too dark. The slightly out of frame horror showing us just a flicker of danger while a whole horror scene is happening. That's pretty scary. Build up to a jump scare that comes just a little too late. When you think, oh, okay, it's not a jump scare, it's a fake out, but then it is, Audio track. I loved the entire sound of the movie. The creative way silence is a character in this movie itself is the reason why this movie is so jarring. The sharp, jagged jump scares, the uneasiness, a moment specifically when James runs out of the house after robbing it. The inside is just so quiet, so damn quiet, and suddenly we are sound jump scared by heavy rain. Sound is used very creatively here. I love that. Let's go to the verdict. The verdict is watch it. What are you waiting for? It's a solid horror mystery, a genre I love with style, humor, and bite. And this was Weapons 2025. Tell me, did you like it? Did you not like it? Which part was your favorite? Which character were you more interested in? Which character did you not like? Which character did you sympathize with? And what did you think of the ending? Feel free to leave a comment. Take care of yourself and watch your kids. Make sure it isn't too easy for them to get out unnoticed. Remember to smash that like and subscribe button, and if you see a hype button, please give me those hypes. I would do any movie you request, good or bad, but please, in the first 7 days of upload, anyone in countries who have hypes, please smash some hypes my way. So remember to smash the like button, the hype button, and the subscribe button. Send me requests on any of my socials listed below of anything you want me to cover. Catch me in the scare count video next, where I'll rate its jump scares and creep factor. Until then, stay weird, stay awesome, lock your car doors, and I'll see you in the next video.